We live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Modi to unveil the name of the building complex Seva Tirth and also inaugurate it, which will house PMO, Cabinet Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat. BNP set to secure big majority as counting proceeds in Bangladesh parliamentary election, leading in 170 seats to cross the halfway mark out of 299 contested constituencies. Trump revokes landmark ruling that greenhouse gases endanger public health, scraps vehicle emission rules, significant rollback on climate change. Trump agrees to end his unprecedented immigration enforcement surge. Protests appear set to continue, vowing to maintain pressure. And in T20 World Cup, India beats Namibia by 93 runs, biggest margin of victory by runs in the tournament, next to clash with Pakistan on the 15th of February. And on to the details now. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party is on a course for a sweeping victory in the 13th national election, leading in 170 constituencies as of 3:30 a.m. Bangladesh time. After nearly 2 decades out of power, the BNP expressed confidence of securing more than 2/3 of majority, calling the outcome an overwhelming public mandate. Senior leaders, including Chairman Tariq Rahman and Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir, have won their respective seats, according to unofficial results. Meanwhile, the BNP called for nationwide prayers instead of victory rallies, urging supporters to avoid public celebrations as the country awaits official confirmation of the results. Also, Jamaat-e-Islami and its allies claimed a victory in around 60 seats, while the National Citizen Party, a key partner in the Jamaat-led alliance, said it had secured 6 constituencies. Now, the Election Commission has yet to announce final official results, with counting still underway. It also suspended results in 3 constituencies. Those are Sherpur 2, Chattogram 2 and Chattogram 4 due to pending cases in the appellate division. Well, alongside the parliamentary election, a referendum was also held on a set of constitutional reforms. The focus was on establishing a neutral interim government for election periods, restructuring the parliament into a bicameral legislature, also increasing women's representation, strengthening judicial independence, and introducing a 2-term limit for the Prime Minister. Now, there was no official word on the outcome of the referendum. However, leading local newspapers report that 73% of the nearly 296,000 votes cast in the referendum said yes, and the rest said no. And for more on this, we have Naval Singh Parmar joining us on the phone line from Dhaka. Well, Naval Singh, with the voting concluded, the BNP leading in 170 constituencies, as we know now, and claiming a potential 2/3 majority. How is the political atmosphere on the ground in Bangladesh right now, especially among the supporters and also the rival parties?
As per the latest update, the BNP is leading on 208 seats out of 299 for that the voting has been done yesterday. However, 3 seats for the 3 seats, the results will be suspended till the outcome of the court cases, which is pending in different courts in Bangladesh. BNP is a clear front runner, and it is going to have a landslide victory in this election. At the same time, for the referendum, vote count for the referendum is around 3 lakhs, and there are 12.77 crore voters in Bangladesh. So in comparison with the total vote and the voting done, the trend for the referendum is very too early. It is difficult to comment on that. But there is the voting has been done in different center, and counting is happening there at the voting center on. So for the election commission, it will take time to get and compile the data related to the referendum, because the referendum data will be nationwide. While for the particular constituency, the data compilation is limited for the particular constituency only. So it is easy to announce result related to the particular constituency regarding the seats of the member of parliament. But for the referendum, they required to collect and compile all the data across the country, and then only something can be commented on the referendum data. However, election commission is also silent on the outcome of the referendum. But hopefully, if BNP is getting 2/3 majority, then there will be anything can come out in the referendum result.
All right. Also, Naval Singh, there have been allegations of delays and possible tampering simultaneously in some constituencies. What are the reaction to these claims? What are the local people saying, and what is the election commission also saying on all this?
Well, as far as the delay is concerned, it is a ballot voting, and it takes time to do counting. At the same time, in some of the constituency, there is a charged up atmosphere, and deployment of law enforcement agencies are there, and there are in some counting centers, the opponent candidate asked for the recounting too. So that might be the reason, and election commission is also saying that we have to wait for the compiled data, and then only we can officially declare winner or loser in particular constituency. Still now, no official confirmation regarding the winner of the any seats. Whatever the results is coming, it is unofficially. It is reported by the newspaper and the political parties per se, and their social media handles. So election commission has not come out with any concrete data regarding the counting or trend, as we have in India. Like we have a EVM, and we have a centralized system where the EVM data simultaneously updated across the nation by the election commission. This kind of facility is not deployed in Bangladesh, so it is difficult to acquire the data from the more than 42,000 voting centers across the country.
All right, Naval Singh, also, as you mentioned, also the referendum was held on constitutional reforms in parallel yesterday. There has been no official word on the outcome of the referendum as of now. Any information more do you have on that?
Yes, regarding the referendum result, it will take time, because nationwide data they need to consolidate, because for that they have to collect data from all the counting centers. In one constituency, there may be more than 100 counting centers, so they have to collect the data, and there is no digital way to fill the data in a centralized server kind of thing. So that is why it is taking time, and election commission is also of the view that as soon as possible the compilation and tabulation of data will be completed. Then only the referendum result can be announced, and this is the first time happening in Bangladesh, and it is happening simultaneously with the parliamentary election. So it is difficult for the election commission and the state machinery or the staff deployed for this task also, because they are not much well versed with the methodology of the referendum. So there was confusion also among the people, confusion among the polling staff also. So that might be the reason. Let's see what happened and what Election Commission of Bangladesh says regarding the referendum result.
All right, so we're still awaiting the final results. Thank you so much, Naval Singh, for all those details. And moving on, US President Donald Trump announced the repeal of a scientific finding that greenhouse gas emissions endanger human health, removing the legal basis for federal climate regulations. It also ended subsequent federal greenhouse gas emission standards for all vehicles and engines of model years of 2012 to 2027. Now, the move represents the most sweeping climate change policy rollback by the administration to date after a string of regulatory cuts and other moves intended to unfetter fossil fuel development and stymie the rollout of clean energy.
Under the process just completed by the EPA, we are officially terminating the so-called endangerment finding, a disastrous Obama-era policy that severely damaged the American auto industry and massively drove up prices for American consumers. That's why, effective immediately, we are repealing the ridiculous endangerment finding and terminating all additional green emission standards imposed unnecessarily on vehicle models and engines between 2012 and 2027 and beyond.
And the European Union leaders have agreed on a wide-ranging set of commitments to improve how the bloc's border-free internal market works, so Europe's businesses can be competitive and survive aggressive economic rivalry from the US and China. Reducing Europe's dependencies on countries outside the bloc has gained greater urgency because of geopolitical shocks, intensified global competition, and an economy that lags behind bigger powers. The discussion, a Belgian castle, brought a new energy on building a more resilient economy, echoed EU Chief Antonio Costa, promising concrete measures would be taken in the next leaders' meeting in March. But big divisions remained on show among the EU's 27 capitals. On the crucial matter of debt, the lines did not appear to have moved. Leaders, backed by influential European figures, believe the key to transforming the 27-country bloc's economy is to deepen the single market and make it easier for businesses to work across the continent.
We have agreed that next European Council in March, I will present a One Europe, One Market roadmap, an action plan that shows very detailed what are we going to do with timelines, with targets, and with a clear limit of time also to deliver. And the ambition is that we will have this document committed and agreed by not only the Commission, but also the two co-legislators, that is the European Council and the Parliament.
And NATO defense ministers met in Brussels to discuss fresh commitments for military support for Ukraine as the conflict with Russia enters its fifth year now. Britain had committed $205 million to the so-called prioritized Ukraine Requirements List (PURL) initiative to supply Ukraine with U.S. weapons. The scheme allows allies to fund purchases of American air defense systems and other critical equipment for Kyiv. British Defense Minister John Haley said that pledges from Britain and allies totaling $35 billion of military aid for Ukraine.
We can save lives, we can pressure Putin, and we can agree peace, but only if we step up together. So together, I can confirm that today's UDCG, we pledged a total of $35 billion worth of new military aid for Ukraine. For our part, the UK is spending the highest level of support for military aid for Ukraine ever. And at this UDCG, I announced a new £500 million package of urgent air defence support for Ukraine, President Zelensky's top priority.
Well, the allies have already put forward over $4.5 billion through the program. The pledges were made at a meeting of the Ukraine Defence Contact Group, which comprises 50 nations co-chaired by Britain and Germany.
Ukraine needs our support now more than ever, and we must also support the vision of Minister Fedorov when it comes to 2026 and to make Ukraine as strong as possible in the fight. And I'm urging all nations to step up their support and to share that burden.
One thing we will contribute to is what is referred to as a city dome project. It is concerned with the improvement of air defense above Ukraine's metropolitan areas that are under threat.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Iran-US talks await date as Trump meets Netanyahu, signals no rush to strike. And India delivers third tranche of election support to Nepal ahead of March 5th vote. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, Iran and the United States have yet to set a date for a new round of talks after an initial encounter last week on the contested Iranian nuclear program. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump met on Wednesday to discuss about creating the conditions to reach a deal with Iran that would avoid military action. Netanyahu said he told Trump Israel needed any deal to include a halt to Iran's nuclear program, limits on its ballistic missiles and Iran's proxies. Well, Netanyahu's visit was more muted than usual and close to the press. The two leaders spoke behind closed doors for more than 2.5 hours in what Trump described as a very good meeting. Donald Trump said no major decisions were made and stopped short of publicly accepting Netanyahu's entreaties. But for now, US President is not rushing to launch military action against the Islamic Republic.
We have to make a deal, otherwise it's going to be very traumatic. Very traumatic. I don't want that to happen, but we have to make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time, and they got midnight hammer instead. And this will be very traumatic for Iran if they don't make a deal.
And this as Munich Security Conference is drawing a lot of attention as relations between Europe and the United States remain strained. There are lots of divisions on trade and social media regulation despite recent agreements on defense. Well, also, Europeans are anticipating a more conciliatory message from U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is set to address the conference. At last year's conference, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance sparked controversy by accusing European leaders of censoring free speech and failing to manage immigration. The conference will open on Friday with remarks by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and conclude on Sunday. Up to 5,000 police officers will be deployed during the Munich Security Conference. There will also be international support from Austria, Switzerland, France and the Netherlands, though several protests and gatherings have also been planned. And moving on to Mexican-flagged ships carrying humanitarian aid entered Havana harbor as Cuba's longtime ally made good on a promise to assist the island nation after Washington threatened to impose tariffs on countries that supply oil to the island. U.S. claimed that Cuba poses an extraordinary threat to the country's national security, an assertion that Havana denies. Mexico announced the delivery of aid after suspending shipments of crude oil and other refined products to the island weeks ago. And updates on Canada's shooting now. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney will join mourners on Friday in British Columbia town of Tumbler Ridge that is grieving after 8 people were killed in a mass school shooting. Carney will attend a vigil in Tumbler Ridge in memory of the victims, and he invited leaders from all political parties to join him in the town. Near the school, a bouquet of flowers and stuffed animals were placed at the foot of a tree. Yellow police tape surrounded the school buildings and a snow-covered volleyball court. Earlier, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on Thursday named the victims of the mass shooting. Police said Jessie Van Roetselaar killed her mother and stepbrother before shooting dead 6 people at the town's high school, including a female teacher, 3 girls and 2 boys. Well, the White House border czar Tom Homan on Thursday stated U.S. President has agreed to halt his unprecedented and widely protested deportation surge in Minnesota. He added that a significant reduction in the operation is already in progress and will continue through next week. City leaders and residents are cautiously reacting to news that the immigration enforcement surge is winding down, with protests set to continue until there is clear evidence it has fully ended. Federal agents carried out thousands of aggressive raids in Minnesota that have sparked mass protest in Minneapolis and drawn widespread criticism after the fatal federal agent shootings of Rennie Good and Alex Pretty.
With that, in success that has been made arresting public safety threats and other priorities since this surge operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement, I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week.
Well, a look at the key events since the deployment of ICE immigration forces to Minnesota now. In fact, on January 7th, a 37-year-old woman, Rennie Good, was fatally shot by a federal ICE agent during an enforcement operation. Between January 8th to 11th, initial protests began and people held protest and vigils across Minneapolis demanding accountability. On January 10th, demonstrators protested outside a hotel where federal agents were staying, and on January 11th, ICE Out for Good rallies were held nationwide with coordinated protest, including in Minneapolis and other U.S. cities. On 22nd of January, a 5-year-old boy was detained as part of an expanded immigration crackdown. On 24th of January, shooting of U.S. citizen 37-year-old Alex Pretty by federal agents in Minneapolis, and on January 29th to 30th, solidarity events were held to support the victim families and the community. Protests continued in early February, during which dozens were arrested, and on 12th of February, Trump agreed to end unprecedented deportation surge in Minnesota. Well, the Argentine Chamber of Deputies has passed a bill to lower the age of criminal responsibility from 16 to 14. The reform now needs approval from the Senate. The bill was passed by 149 votes to 100 and reflects President Javier Milei's tough-on-crime approach. The government said the new youth criminal law will help fight impunity, ensure faster justice, and stop repeat offences by minors. It also promised to maintain order on the streets. Well, Japanese authorities said on Friday that the fisheries agency seized a Chinese fishing boat and arrested its captain. The Japanese fisheries agency in a statement said that it has seized a Chinese fishing boat and arrested its skipper for allegedly defying an order to stop. The incident happened on Thursday inside Japan's exclusive economic zone of Nagasaki Prefecture. The incident marks the first time since 2022 that the agency has seized a Chinese fishing boat. The vessel is also the first foreign fishing boat seized by the agency this year. There were 11 people on board, including the captain. The move is expected to further heighten tensions between the two neighbors. It was the first time since 2022 that the Japanese agency has seized a Chinese fishing boat. The arrest of another Chinese fishing boat captain in 2010 off those islands in the East China Sea became a major diplomatic incident between the two nations. Well, the United States signed a deal with Taiwan to confirm lower U.S. tariffs on the island's goods alongside Taiwanese spending commitments on American products. The final reciprocal trade agreement was signed on Thursday, confirmed a 15% U.S. tariff rate for imports from Taiwan, while committing Taiwan to a schedule for eliminating or lowering tariffs on nearly all U.S. goods. The document released by the U.S. Trade Representative's Office on Thursday also commits Taiwan to significantly boost purchases of U.S. goods from 2025 through 2029. The deal will immediately eliminate Taiwan's tariffs of up to 26% on many U.S. agricultural imports. Under the deal, Taiwan will also remove non-tariff barriers on motor vehicles and accept U.S. auto safety standards, as well as those on medical devices and pharmaceuticals. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Canine ex-robot dogs were presented to the public by Mexican police at BBVA Stadium in Monterrey. The four-legged robots will help police tackle crime during the 2026 World Cup this summer. Equipped with loudspeakers, they can enter dangerous areas and send live video to security forces, allowing officers to assess the situation before taking action. As Rio's Carnival approaches, Locura Suburbana, a street parade that brings together psychiatric patients, their families and mental health workers, fill the streets with samba, colorful costumes and giant puppets. Spaghetti Western star Franco Nero poses on his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles during the ceremony. He said he's proud to be the 18th Italian to receive a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. Supporters of the government filled the streets of Caracas to mark National Youth Day in Venezuela. The march by Chavismo supporters took place at the same time as a rally held by the opposition. To celebrate the upcoming festival of Mahashivratri, Embassy of India in Kathmandu, in collaboration with the Pashupatinath Area Development Trust, organized a cultural evening at the Pashupatinath Temple Complex. The event featured various activities performed by the teachers and students of Indian Council for Cultural Relations in Nepal, along with other artists. Millions of devotees visit Pashupati Temple on occasion of Mahashivratri to worship and seek blessings. And still to come in DD India News App. Piyush Goyal says India-US trade pact safeguards farmers. SBI report projects India-US trade surplus to cross $90 billion annually, boosting GDP by 1.1%. And India leverages AI to shift to proactive real-time climate action.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to unveil the name of the building complex Seva Tirth and also inaugurated, which will house PMO, Cabinet Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat. BNP is set to secure big majority as counting proceeds in Bangladesh parliamentary election, leading in 170 seats to cross the halfway mark out of 229 contested constituencies. Trump revokes landmark ruling that greenhouse gases endanger public health, scraps vehicle emission rules, significant rollback on climate change. Trump agrees to end his unprecedented immigration enforcement surge. Protest appears set to continue vowing to maintain pressure. And in T20 World Cup, India beats Namibia by 93 runs, biggest margin of victory by runs in the tournament, next to clash with Pakistan on the 15th of February. Well, moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil the name of the building complex Seva Tirth today. He will thereafter formally inaugurate Seva Tirth and Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 and also address a public program at Seva Tirth later in the day. The inauguration marks a transformative milestone in India's administrative governance architecture and reflects the Prime Minister's commitment to building a modern, efficient, accessible and citizen-centric governance ecosystem. Seva Tirth houses the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Council Secretariat, the Cabinet Secretariat, all of which were previously located across different locations. Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 accommodate several key ministries, including the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Defence and others. Well, both building complexes feature digitally integrated offices, structured public interface zones and centralized reception facilities. These features will foster collaboration, efficiency, seamless governance, improved citizen engagement and enhanced employee well-being. Designed in accordance with 4-star Griha standards, the complexes incorporate renewable energy systems, water conservation measures, waste management solutions, and high-performance building envelopes. These measures significantly reduce environmental impact while enhancing operational efficiency. The building complexes also include comprehensive safety and security frameworks such as smart access control systems, surveillance networks, and advanced emergency response infrastructure, ensuring a secure and accessible environment for officials and visitors. While India is powering its future right from the rooftops, the dream of delivering clean, affordable and reliable energy to every household in India now appears to be turning into reality. The PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, or the free electricity scheme, is fast emerging as a game changer in India's clean energy push. Launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in February 2024, the initiative is not limited to electricity generation alone. It is a major step towards saving, environmental protection and self-reliance. Within just 2 years of its implementation, positive results are emerging across the country. In the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh, over 29,000 consumers across 16 districts have registered under the scheme so far. They feel they're bringing the real change in people's lives at the grassroots level.
प्रधानमंत्री सूर्य घर योजना के तहत 3 वर्ष पूर्व हमने यहाँ पे घर पे सोलर पैनल लगवाया था। उससे पहले हमारे घर का बिजली का बिल 10,000 रुपये महीना आता था और गर्मियों में तो 15,000 रुपये तक भी आ जाता था। लेकिन जब से ये हमारे यहाँ सोलर पैनल लगाए तब से 1,500 से 1,700 और गर्मियों में 2,000 से ऊपर नहीं आता।
Well, a total of more than 29 lakh households have installed a solar capacity, out of which 87,000 households are in Assam alone. One such household in Assam is in Nadighala Gaon in Dibrugarh, which has benefited from the scheme. The biggest advantage of the scheme lies in the fact that it provides a subsidy of up to 40% for rooftop solar panel installation and offers collateral-free, low-interest loans for up to 3 kV residential rooftop solar systems.
Now the bill is reduced to like 500 or 400. So basically we have cut down 90 or 80% of the bill amount, and so we are getting some good benefits. I have placed a 3 kilowatt system here and additional 1 kilowatt. So now we are getting around 3.1 or 3.2 at this good sunlight. So by installing this, we have reduced the amount of electricity from the grid. Now we are generating our own electricity.
And India's Trade and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has once again asserted that the India-US Trade Pact fully protects farmers' interest. In a social media post on X, Goyal said that around 90% to 95% of farm products produced in India have been left out of the trade agreement in which the interests of farmers have been protected. He stressed that the pact does not touch sensitive agriculture and dairy. The minister also assured the nation that under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, farmers of the country will always be secure, empowered and prosperous.
In the recent trade deal with the United States of America, the interests of farmers have been kept paramount and fully protected. In this agreement, all major crops of farmers, including wheat, rice, millets, soya meal, corn, GM food products, spices, potatoes, have been fully safeguarded. We have also fully protected the interests of farmers producing major fruits, including apples. India's doors have not been opened to dairy products or poultry. The truth is that many of our products, including basmati rice, fruits, spices, tea, marine products, and many more, will find new markets, increase our exports, and boost farmer incomes. We have opened huge markets for cotton textile exports, which will increase the demand for cotton manifold, benefiting our cotton farmers. Every decision taken in the trade deal is in the best interest of Ma Bharat and 140 crore Indians, including our farmers, our youth.
Well, as per SBI research report, India's trade surplus with the United States could exceed $90 billion annually. This growth has been driven by rising exports and higher import potential. The agreement with the US, back on the heels of a wide arc of trade deals with the EU and the UK, catapults India to a unique strategic position wherein the country are poised to gain much. The report also says India's export of $1.36 billion of agricultural commodities will receive zero additional US duty access. India's export to US on agri-commodities is also set to jump as 75% will now be at zero tariff. Indian exporters could boost their top 15 item exports to the US by $97 billion yearly, with total exports potentially crossing $100 billion annually after recent tariff reductions. The trade surplus is already showing strong signs of growth. It reached $40.9 billion in financial year 25 and $26 billion in financial year 26. The report said the extra export push could help push the surplus beyond $90 billion annually, potentially adding 1.1% to India's GDP. While India is increasingly leveraging artificial intelligence to address its high vulnerability to climate change, moving from reactive, data-dependent and slow-moving responses to proactive, anticipatory and real-time strategies. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya has this report.
As climate change intensifies, India is turning to artificial intelligence as a powerful tool to strengthen climate action, resilience, and sustainable development. India is among the world's most climate vulnerable countries. Over 85% of its population is exposed to extreme weather risk. Traditionally, climate response relied on historical data and delayed action. Today, AI is helping India move from reaction to anticipation.
AI today can be leveraged to actually identify from geospatial data, from satellite data, which are the areas where we are going to see more extreme climate events, whether it is extreme heat stresses, whether it is flood events, whether it is droughts in the future, as the climate changes, where all we are going to see more extreme heat impacts. And so that we can start planning for those right from today. If we need to change our cropping system, if we need to evolve our, let's say, infrastructure design of our cities to reduce heat stress, all of that is today possible with AI.
Using machine learning, satellite imagery, and high-resolution climate models, agencies like Indian Meteorological Department have significantly improved the accuracy of cyclone, flood, and heat wave forecast. These advances have helped reduce cyclone-related fatalities by over 90% since 1990s, an achievement now studied globally as a model for disaster risk reduction. AI-enabled forecasting and smart grid system predicts solar and wind generation, balance electricity demand, and reduce transmission losses. These technologies are crucial to India's commitment of achieving net zero emission by 2070. AI is also strengthening environmental protection. Satellite-based analytics monitor forest cover across 7.1 lakh square kilometers, enabling near real-time detection of deforestation, forest fires, and illegal mining. Along India's 7,500-kilometer coastline, AI model assess sea level rise, shoreline erosion, and cyclone risk, helping coastal communities prepare for a future shaped by climate uncertainty. In cities, AI platforms map air pollution, predict heat stress, and support climate action plans in urban centers facing rising temperatures and declining air quality. From saving lives through early warnings to securing farms, forest, and clean energy, artificial intelligence is powering India's climate fight, transforming data into action and resilience for the future. With camera person Mukesh, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
Well, despite being over 100 years old, the radio is one of the most popular ways to exchange information, provide a social interchange and educate people all over the world. It has been used to help people, including youth, to engage in discussions on topics that affect them. It can save lives during natural or human-made disasters, and it gives journalists a platform to report facts and tell their stories. Proclaimed in 2011 by UNESCO member states and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012, World Radio Day is celebrated every year on the 13th of February. For 2026, the theme, Radio and Artificial Intelligence, opens up a whole new field of discussion, creation, and exploration. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended greetings on the World Radio Day, saying it is about celebrating a medium that it is a trusted voice for people, be it in remote villages or bustling cities. In a social media post, he said that for years, the radio has delivered timely information, amplified talent, and encouraged creativity. He added that this is a day to acknowledge the efforts of all those associated with this medium. Through his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister Modi said that he has experienced the potential of the radio firsthand in bringing out the societal strength of our people. He further informed that this month's program will take place on Sunday, 22nd of February, and urged countrymen to share inputs for the program. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. India's winning juggernaut continued in the T20 World Cup 2026 with a comprehensive 93-run victory over Namibia on Thursday at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. The men in blue registered their biggest victory in the tournament's history and also extended their record unbeaten streak to 11 matches. India climbed to the top of Group B with 4 points from 2 matches and an impressive net run rate. They will next take on arch rivals Pakistan in a highly anticipated fixture on February 15th in Colombo. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Coming up next is an exclusive conversation with Mr. Venugopal Lambu, the CEO and MD of LTI Mind India, who talks about the benefits of AI for common people and the economy, and why democratization of the technology is so much important for the world, which is progressing at a very fast pace. Listen in.
to our special segment on DD India. Well, the nation is all set to host the AI Impact Summit, and ahead of it, we are now joined by Mr. Venugopal Lambu, the CEO and MD of LTI Mindtree, to talk about the significance and potential impact of the summit on the entire world. So thank you so much for joining us on this special segment. Well, LTI Mindtree acts as a digital transformational partner, and it also has an important stake in the changing ecosystem of business and economy. How important is AI, and what is LTI Mindtree doing to ensure its safe and maximum utilization for global good?
Firstly, thanks for inviting me to be here. It's my pleasure to be here. Look, AI is hugely important for us. It is one of the most breakthrough innovation, and that too happening at such a short innovation cycles. We see a great opportunity, not just about how we redefine our businesses so that we can add value to our clients, but the role that AI has at the wider economy as well, in terms of how does it make the entire workforce more productive. How do we address some of the most complex problems, in the community, whether it's the challenges related to the healthcare, education, access of, to the vulnerable areas or to the weaker section of the society. So, while it has a bigger business agenda, it has equally a bigger agenda, to the wider society at large.
India is hosting the much-needed AI Impact Summit, and the initiative is being lauded globally. And it is one such platform where stakeholders will be coming under one roof. Tell us how this summit and more such initiatives can be a game changer.
Look, we are excited about the participation in the summit. It's a great opportunity, to exchange thoughts, ideas, and most importantly, establish the ideas that originate from India, the services that gets created in India, and the capability that will be built in India, whether it's the AI infrastructure capability or the AI application services capabilities or our own models, that will start emerging and getting strengthened. It's a great story, for India to put, its stake on the table, and most importantly, I do believe. We have a very unique opportunity with such an access to a talent workforce, to be a very leading player in the global AI marketplace. And we are really excited to be part of it.
There are many apprehensions around the usage of AI. Many think that it is going to harm the skill-based force and also reduce employment opportunities. As the central force of the industry, how would you address this perception of AI being seen as a threat to potential job opportunities?
Look, there is no doubt that aspects of AI technologies will be able to do quite a few activities that currently the humans are doing, probably at a better pace, greater quality, with a higher intelligence level, and most importantly, do it at a lesser cost. So there is a new productivity paradigm that's been challenged, for all businesses and all communities. So that's definitely going to happen. But I actually look at it, the positive side of it. The positive side of it is that, one is it takes time to get this adoption at scale, right? The AI capability always gets built at exponential speed, but the adoption doesn't necessarily match with that speed. So there is a gap between these two, the tracks, if I may say, and that's where the opportunity lies for us, to move at a greater speed in reimagining the talent skill sets, and if you're in the business, to redefine the capabilities and services, leveraging AI to your customers. And this is also a great opportunity to actually, build the education curriculum and the entire talent supply chain for the world, so that when the adoption gets its speed and comes at the population scale, you really address some of the core talent transformation skill set. You have built a great infrastructure that support the AI services, and also the businesses have reimagined themselves, to sort of thrive and grow in the AI era. So in the short term, the narrative seems to be more about job losses. But I think we should get over with that narrative, talk about the bigger opportunity that lies over there. And to capture that big opportunities, watch the roadmap we need to have, both as the businesses and the communities at large, and work towards that in making it happen. So I think somewhere I would call upon, to all the leaders to actually change the narrative more about optimism and the growth that is needed. And at the same time, make sure that there is a clear-cut plan that each of us as the business leaders have for our businesses in how we transform and succeed and thrive in the AI era. And that's what we are doing within LTM Entry.
From the European Union to many other developed countries, many are looking forward to AI regulations as well. And many are now eyeing the AI India Impact Summit, where great stakeholders like you are coming under one roof to discuss the implications of AI. What is it that AI offers for the coming future, especially considering the fact that India is looking forward to become a developed nation by the year 2047 and is also eyeing to become the third largest economy?
Look, I think the possibilities of AI in redefining, the workforce of the future, in redefining how the data will be consumed to deliver different services that gets built on the AI technologies, is changing at a much faster pace. So there is a need, to sort of strengthen the governance aspect for every country with regard to the data, and same applies for India as well. The sovereign capabilities then for the entire AI stack is hugely strategic. Having our own AI stack, is more of a strategic sovereignty capability that every country will have, and so will be in India. And that's a role that we are playing as well as an IT services company. We are doing our bit, in that entire AI stack to pick up areas where we can focus and deliver it. And we do that. We try to address the entire AI stack by partnering with, the other companies within our group companies. But that's where the real opportunity lies. And there is a need to strengthen, invest, and double down our focus in building AI stack for India and AI stack out of India.
That's very important. Now, through the first ever AI Impact Summit, India is also aiming to position itself in securing a large role in shaping global AI governance. Can this also soon become a mantra whose blueprint can be shared across the world, like how India is leading from the front in the UPI sector as well?
Look, we have whenever I travel to India and when I bring my clients, they get really impressed, with the digital economy that exists over there. So, we've been trendsetter in many areas as such on the digital evolution. So I find no reason why we can play a much more leading role in defining what should be the to be governance models, for data, for the entire AI stack that needs to have a sovereign flavor into it. And most importantly, the kind of services we can build to address the challenges that the population at scale faces. If we can do that, it'll evolve into its own global narrative, where we can set ourselves a great example.
What more can be done to ensure safe usage of AI across the country and the world?
Look, I think in general, the topic of ethical AI, the AI safety, whether it's about data safety or how the AI is used to represent certain part of the content, all that, requires, a continued focus. I know there are a lot of discussions happening around that. There are rules that are changed, that are being made to address the issues over there. So while we talk about the opportunities that AI brings in challenging the productivity, in creating the new future workforce, in creating new services and addressing complex problems of the world and the businesses, we just can't ignore the fact that the foundation of all this needs to be built by a very strong AI safety governance. And also there is an ethical aspect of it, right? There are certain things, also has to be looked through an ethical lens. So, both the security from a technology standpoint and ethical from the moral and the governance standpoint, both needs to be, a very integral part of our strategy.
All right. Sir, thank you so much. We are really looking forward to your participation at the upcoming AI Impact Summit. Thank you so much for joining us and getting us a very important rounded perspective on AI, its usage, governance, and of course, the ethical usage of it globally. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you heard from Mr. Venugopal himself, who talked about AI ahead of the much important AI India Impact Summit. That's all in this special segment. Thank you so much for joining us.